So just settle into your sitting position. Check your posture, make sure you feel stable and you're lifting up along your spine. Allowing your breath to lift your spine up towards the heavens. Hold it strong but flexible. And your hips and your legs holding you steady like a mountain on the earth. And then bring your awareness to your breath. Starting with the feeling of the breath physically entering your body through the nostrils or the mouth. And following that feeling down into the lungs, into the inside of your body. Feeling the way that your lungs fill with every breath, and then empty. Taking in that oxygen-rich air with all of its nourishment. And breathing out what we don't need, which in turn will be breathed in by the trees and the plants. So that they can breathe out what we need. And following that breath deep down through the lungs, down towards the diaphragm in the center of our bodies. And just resting awareness at the bottom of the lungs for a few breaths. Now we have our awareness deep within. Let's bring to mind a golden egg of butter sitting calmly on the middle of our heads, about the size of a large duck egg, just smaller than your fist. Perfectly stable. Large rounded edge on the bottom, quite flat on the top of your skull. Pointed egg, pointed end above. A beautiful, rich golden color that begins to warm up from our body heat. And as it warms, just begins to melt very gently and consistently down into the skull. And feel that butter melt in a perfect 360-degree circumference, so that as it melts, it also melts down and out, all around the top of the skull, and down through that skull space, down into the brains, all the way from the forehead at the front, around the sides to the back, as if it's melting in a perfect plane that's sinking down through our body, dissolving any pain, aches or anguish, physical or mental, emotional or spiritual, melting them away as it works its way down through the head towards the eyes. Soothing the eyes and the backs of the eyes all the way through these organs and the cones and rods that attach them to the brain. Melting down through the ears, soothing these organs of sound. Melting down through the nose and the cheekbones, all the way around the head to the back as well. Melting down through the upper lip and the lips and the cheeks. A warm and golden light dissolving everything in its path, through the mouth and the chin, and around through the medulla oblongata, the space at the back of the skull, melting down through the whole head, down into the neck and the throat. In a beautiful, consistent wave, melting through the body, down through the neck and the throat, so that we swallow with comfort. Any pinching of nerves or muscle tension around the neck, or now at the tops of the shoulders, just feeling melted away with that golden light. Down through the tops of the shoulders, still covering the entire plane of the body. So into the tops of the arms at the same time as that golden warmth melts down into the shoulder blades and the upper spine. Feeling our pains and aches melt away as the golden butter of the egg comes down through the upper arms and down through the shoulder blades and between the shoulder blades. Feel free to open that space out physically as you feel that golden butter melt through it. And noticing too that now we're melting down through the upper chest at the same time. The very tops of the lungs and the ribs, easing away and down towards the heart. A muscle that started beating for us when we were still just in the womb. Beating for our whole lives, now feeling soothed by that golden light. Letting that melting work its way down through the physical and through the emotional space of the heart. Letting any pain there wash away. As that golden butter melts right through the whole lung space, coming down along the ribs and along the spines, down beneath the shoulder blades into the middle of the back. And feeling it all the way around from the front of the ribs to our back, as well as down through the middle, through the lungs, but also down along the spine. And just as the heart carries so much emotional weight and responsibility through our lives, so the spine carries so much of our nervous system up and down. Allowing that whole central nervous system to be calmed. To be soothed by this golden butter. And feeling that melting down through the core, through the center, along the spinal column, around the back and around the front to the bottom of the ribs, and into that abdominal area for all of our organs. All those vital organs, each of them receiving that warm, golden, melting light. The stomach, the liver, the kidneys, the intestines, the spleen. All of that abdominal area being soothed by this melting butter. At the same time, down through that lower spine, that lower back, not missing anything. And the golden butter melting its way through every part of our bodies, all the way around and down through the middle and towards the hips. Feeling that whole sacral area, the bottom of the spine, the tops of the glutes, the top of your bottom, down through that whole hip area around the sides and to the front and down through the middle. Feeling that warm golden butter melting down through the genital area and all around there through the hips, relaxing. Down through the upper groin to the upper thighs. right around the front of the thighs to the back, both sides, and right through the middle, through that largest bone of the body. The femur, the hamstring muscles, all of these upper leg parts holding us up all day. Now feeling that melting butter working its way down along the thighs, down towards the knees, not missing anything, never rushing. Letting every cell and fibre and muscle in our bodies have all their tension dissolved away. Down into the knees, the kneecaps at the front and behind the knees, all the way around that hard working capsule, those joints. The muscles and the tendons and the ligaments, and down through the knees to the top part of the lower leg, down the shin bone, down through the calf muscles. Warmed and dissolved by the golden butter melting. Down through the lower legs, the calves and the shins. Down towards the ankle joint. It takes so much movement. Every time our foot lands, this part of us is working so hard. Just let that golden butter melt down through the ankles into the foot, down along the top of the foot, towards the tops of the toes and down through the heel. And down through the arch and through all those soft muscles as well as the bones in our feet. Down to the pads, the ball of the foot, the bottom of the heel, the bottoms of the toes. And let that golden butter melt down through your body into the ground. Let everything that's been washed away from your body be earthed. Allow your body to let go of any pains or aches or stresses, any anxieties or heartaches, any spiritual or or existential concerns, all melt down into the earth. And just sit with that clarity and peace in your body for a few breaths. And repeat that meditation anytime you feel physical or other aches are taking you out of your place of balance, out of your center, out of your stillness, out of your composure or your compassion. And sit for as long as you like with that feeling of being washed through by that golden butter, the golden light that's melted through our bodies from that egg.